Students, assalamu alaikum. I hope you have gone through the previous videos of statistics, namely how to find mean, median, mode in case of grouped as well as ungrouped data. Now today is the last topic of this chapter, that is how to represent median, how to represent median graphically, or graphical representation of cumulative frequency distribution. Graphical representation graphical representation of cumulative frequency distribution. So today it is our last topic, how to represent cumulative frequency distribution graphically. And this is also known as, we do this with the help of two curves known as Ogive curves. Less than Ogive, one is known as less than Ogive curve, another is known as more than Ogive curve. More than Ogive curve. So there are two types of curves. One is known as less than Ogive curve, and there is known as more than Ogive curve. And how to, in this video we will see how to find median using these two curves, how to find median graphically using less than Ogive curve and more than Ogive curve. So in this video I will show you how what is Ogive curve, and how to draw an Ogive curve, and how to convert a continuous class interval frequency distribution table in terms of less than Ogive curve or more than Ogive curve. So I will first give you an example to show it graphically. Let us take the example from text. Daily income, suppose daily income in rupees, and there is number of workers. Daily it is 100 to 120, then 120 to 140, 120 to 140, 140 to 160, 160 to 180, and finally 180 to 200. This is daily income in rupees, that means class interval, and this is number of workers, that means frequency. We represent a frequency. So frequencies for the first one it is 12. For the second one it is 14, and for the third one it is 8, and for the fourth 160 to 180 it is 6, and the last is 10. And it is total number of workers are 50. So this sum, total number of workers are 50. You have to convert this into less than type of Ogive curve. First of all, I will construct this is the daily income, that means class interval, and this is the number that means frequency. In order to find, in order to draw less than Ogive type curve or more than Ogive type curve, first of all you have to find the cumulative frequency, and I have told you how to find cumulative frequency. You have to add up previous frequencies. Prior to 12 there is no frequency, prior to 12 there is no, so 12 will be the first cumulative frequency of for 12 is 12. For 14 it is 14 plus 12, 14 plus, prior to 14 there is 12, so 14 plus 12, 14 plus 12, that means equal to, sorry, 6 and 26. And prior to 8 there are 8, 14 and 12, so you have to add 14 and 12 to 8, so that means 8 or 4, 32, sorry, 34, and so 8 plus 14 plus 12, that will be 34, 34 plus 6, now prior to 6 is 8, 14 and 12, that will, you will sum up 34 to 6, that is 40, and last sum of all, that means 50. So far you have already done how to find cumulative frequency. Now in this, if you want to convert it in less than type, if you, this is the data, and if you want to convert, I have shown you up to this how to find cumulative frequency. Now if you want to convert this question into less than type, so I will draw it once again, I will rub it, I will show you how to. In that you don't need to, you have to, suppose I will write it, this is in order to, this is class income is class interval, this is class, and this I will write frequency here, I will write frequency here, it is 12, it is 14, it is 8, it is 6, it is 10. So now in order to find, convert it to less than interval, I will write, you use this last, suppose use these upper intervals, here the upper interval is 120, so I will write less than 120, less than 120, then I will write less than 140, then I will write less than 160, use only upper limit, so less than 120, less than 140, less than 160, less than 180, less than 180, and last less than 200, less than 200. So if you want to convert your class intervals in less than type, you have to use upper limits, less than 120, less than 140, less than 160, less than 180, less than 200. Now from 100 to 120 there are only 12, so less than 120 there are 12. And remember one more thing, here it is 120, here it is 120, in which class interval you will include 120 value. Actually this you will include 120 in this interval, not in this interval. This means actually 119.999, that means it is 120, it is not up to 120, it is up to 119.999, but not 120, so 120 will be included in this. In the same way, this is not up to 100, it is 120 39.999, but not 140. So 140 will be in the same way for others. So less than 120, less than 120, that means this interval, so 12. Now if I ask you, so I will write, now when I this, so I will write cumulative frequency less than 120, that means prior to 112, prior to this interval. There is not, no number prior to this, no interval prior to this, so cumulative frequency will be 12. Cumulative frequency will be 12. That means in case of less than Ogive type you have to find cumulative frequency. And now less than 120, when I say less than 140, it includes also 120, so you have to add these two. So that means 14 plus 12, 26. 26. So when I say less than 140, that means you have, that means this interval and this number and this number, so 12, and because 140, less than 140 also includes less than 120, so you have to add up this 14. In the same way, less than 160, includes this 8, this 14 and this 12, so you have to add up, and that we will get 34. So, and in the same way, less than 180, means you have to include 180, it includes 160 as well, 140 as well, because if I say suppose if I say my income is less than 180, then it includes 160 as well, 140 as well, and 120 as well, so you have to add up all these. So up to this number you add up 34 or 6, that you will get 40. In the same way, less than 200 includes all of these, so that will be 50. That means when you want to draw a less than type of frequency, cumulative frequency distribution, or less than type of Ogive curve, or less than type of frequency, cumulative frequency distribution curve, then at that moment you have to add up, you have to find cumulative frequency. But before that, for less than, you have to use upper class interval, less than 120, less than 140, less than 160, less than 180, and in the same way for other questions. Now we will draw the graph of this is less than type of, this is class intervals. Now we have converted into less than type, and this is cumulative frequency. If I remember, if you want to draw the cumulative frequency on y-axis and less than or more than values on x-axis, so I will rub this, I will write it here so that I can draw the graph. I will write it here so that I can draw the graph. Less than 120, less than 140, less than 160, less than 100, 180, less than 200, and it is a cumulative frequency is 12, 26, 34, 40, and 50. Now I will draw the graph. I rub it here to make place for graph. Let us draw the graph. Cumulative frequency, we will draw it on y-axis. This is y-axis, this is y-axis, this is origin, and this is x-axis. First of all, the minimum value is 12 and the maximum value is 50, so we have to, I will draw the gap of 10 10. Suppose this is 10, 20, 30, chalo, I will draw a bit bigger so that it will be more visible. 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. So this is 10, this is 20, this is 30, this is 40, this is 50. Gap of 10, 10, because here the least value is 12 and the maximum is 50. So I draw from 10 to 20 scale. The scale you choose, it is up to you which scale you want to choose, but should be a convenient, easier for you. Now for class less than type, I will draw 120. Suppose this mark is 120, and after that it is a gap of 20, 20. So one interval is equal to 20, 20. So 160, 100, 140. Here one, then after that it is 160, then after that is 180, and after that it is 200. But these gaps are equidistant. That means this one box, this one gap is equal to 20 units. This is also, you can say, if this is 20, how can this be 0 to, how can this be equal to, then this is 0 to 120. So if this is 0, this is but equal, so you have to draw a kink. I start from 120, ignoring other values prior to this, so I can use a kink like this, a break in the graph. This is known as kink, kink. Kink means you are using prior to this value, you are not, the graph you start from 120 straight away, the other portion is missing, you don't need to draw that portion. So this, in that case you draw kink. That means there is some portion which we miss here, we require, we start the graph from 120, 140, 160, 180 and 200. Now the first values 12, this is cumulative frequency, and these are upper class intervals, upper limits, 120, 140, 160, 180, 200. First one is 12, cumulative frequency 12. It will be slightly above 10 and 120. So it will be slightly, suppose the point is this one is 12 and this is 12 is 120. Then the next point is 26 and 140, 26 and 140. 140 is this, 26 is 20, this is 20, halfway is, this is 10, this halfway is 25, so a bit above halfway, so it will be almost here. So it is point is here, so 140, and this is the another point, 26 and 30. You can draw it more conveniently on graph paper. Then 34, 160, 134 is, this is 35, halfway is 35, a bit below 35 mark. So 160, 134, 160, 34, 34 is here, a bit below this, so 160, and here it is a bit below 35, 34. Now one more is 180, 40, 180, 40, 180, 40. That means this point up to this. So this point. You can draw it using a scale, and after that it is a 250, 50 is this value, 50 is this value, and 200 is this value. So it is the point. Now if you join these pointers, you will join these pointers using a scale. So this is known as this graph is less than Ogive curve, less than Ogive curve. Ogive curve. This graph is known as less than Ogive curve. Less than Ogive curve. Your question is convert the following distribution above to a less than type of cumulative frequency. So this is less than type of cumulative frequency. It is also known as less than Ogive curve. So your question is less than. So this is less than type of cumulative frequency distribution, or this is also known as less than Ogive curve. Whether it is written dry less than Ogive curve or less than type of cumulative frequency distribution, this is one and the same thing. I can also draw more than type of Ogive curve on for the same question. I can draw this. If the question is once again same class intervals are same, I will convert the class intervals of same question into more than type. Now first I will write class intervals once again. 100 to 120, 120 to 140, 140 to 160, 160 to 180, and 180 to 200. 180 to 200, and this is class interval. That means income of the workers, and this is frequency. That means number of workers. Number of workers are 12, 10, 12, 14, 8, 6, 10. This is the. Now prior to this, I make a less than type of cumulative frequency distribution. Now I will draw a more than type of frequency distribution or cumulative frequency distribution or more than Ogive curve for the same question, more than Ogive curve. But for that, if you remember, for less than you take upper limits. Now for more than, you have to take lower limits. So I will write now more than 200. You will write more than lower limit, more than 100. You will write more than 100. Now in case of more than type of cumulative frequency distribution curve, you have to use lower limits, not upper limits. So more than 100. If I say more than 100, it includes all the values. This is 100 to 20, 20 to 40, 20 to 120 to 140, 140 to 160, 160 to 180, 180 to 200. So if I ask you a worker whose income is more than 100, then it includes all the workers. So you have to add all the. So you have to use cumulative. Then it will be CF will be. I will write now. First of all, I will draw this more than type of. In the same way, more than 40, more than 40, more than 140, more than 120. In the same way, more than 140, more than 140, more than 140, more than. This is cumulative frequency of this graph. More than 140, more than 160, and more than 180. Now if I remember these, write down this class on a separate notebook first, so that you will understand the question very well. I will now rub this. More than 100, it includes all these values. So 12, 14, 8, 6, 10, sum of all, it will, I will write CF as here, that will also come as CF, that will be 50, that will be 50. The next class interval was 120 to 1, the next class interval was 120 to 160. So I will say more than one. When I say more than 120, then this includes, this will not include, because the next class interval more than 120 means 120, a value which is more than 120, it doesn't include 10 to 120, it doesn't include 10 to, so this was 10 to 20, so this will be excluded. So out of 50 you have to exclude 12, out of 50 you have to exclude 12. What you will get? 12, 50 minus 12, 38. And more than 140, more than 140 means you have to include these two now. 38, now you have to exclude this 40 as 14 as well. So subtract 14 from this. 8 minus 4, 4, 3 minus 1, 2, 24. So, and when I say more than 160, more than 160 means you have to subtract 8 as well. So 24 minus 8, 24 minus 8, that will be equal to 16. And when I say more than 180, more than 180, that means you have to include this 6 as well. So you will get 10, Now if I draw the graph of this as well, cumulative frequency 10 to 50, that is already written, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 12 to, and more than, now I have to just adjust to the class intervals. More than 100, so let us say this is 100, this is 120, that will be a bit, I will draw class intervals as, this is 100, this is 140, this is 120, this is 140, this is 160, this is 180. Now first one is more than 100, this is 50, this is 50, more than 100 is 50, so I will write, this is the point, more than 100. So first point is this. Then more than 120, 38, cumulative frequency is 38, 38 means 2 less than 40, more than, so almost to this value, more than 120, so this is the value, this is the point, and more than 140, that is equal to 24, so I will write more than 140, 24 means halfway, this is 25, so a bit below this, so this is the value, and after that more than 160 is 16, more than 160 is 16 is, this is 15, a bit above this, and this is 6, this is 160, so this is the point. You can draw it perfectly on graph. And last is more than 100, that is 10, more than 180, that is 10. If I join these points now, this was the first point using scale, this is second, third and fourth. So this curve is known as more than Ogive curve or more than type of cumulative frequency distribution curve, more than type of cumulative frequency distribution curve, and this was less than Ogive curve, less than Ogive curve. The point where the two intersect, the point where these two intersect, the point where these two intersect, if I draw a perpendicular from point of interest to this, the point at which it intersects, that will be median of this data. So median, it lies between 120 to 140, 120 to, and if I here look at the graph, it is almost halfway, so I can say approximately here, because my graph is not perfect, I didn't draw it on a graph sheet, so it will be all approximately 100. This is a 20, so 130 is the because total is half, so that means median is approximately 130. So when you draw the graph perfectly on a graph paper, you can easily find the median as well. So median, if the question is locate the median on graph, so this is the median, where the 2 points intersect. Median is this point, so the median is 120 to 140 between, so the point of intersection is median. So you can draw median graphically as well. This was all about how to draw Ogive curves in case of when the class intervals are given. If the question, these are known as Ogive curves. In case of less than Ogive curves, you will use upper limits, and in case of more than Ogive curves, you will use lower limits. And when you draw the graph, you will show cumulative frequency on y-axis and class intervals on x-axis. Here I have drawn a cut because kink, this is known as kink, because I started from point 100. So here I ignored, because someone will say me, if this is 100 to this is 20, how can this be equal to 100? This is my same interval. So I will draw a kink in order to show that something is missing here. I didn't, these intervals 0 to 100, I start from a random point. I hope you understand today's topic, Ogive curves. If you have any question regarding this, or any query regarding this, you can ask it, and you can write it in comment section. Thank you. Have a nice day.